It's a coffee break. If I was wearing this shirt maybe yesterday. I'm doing laundry. I'm doing laundry. I have clean shirts now. My stuff is clean and everything now, but I was doing laundry. Okay. It's just where. But anyways, it's a shirt I'm comfortable wearing early in the morning. So, um, anyways, we're looking at start us off. Um, this video could have been depicted and described as life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Um, how would you say that? Would you say how I instruct you on that? I could be possibly interrupted in a minute, and I was going to ask if I could possibly bear with me for a minute until it calms down, and then I can continue. Because I live with other people here, and they get up at early times in the morning too, and they have animals. So, and I have animals. You know each other, but they'll tend to bark and stuff. And I can edit that out of the video once I'm done with the video. It does sound like they're up, but this video here is basically, like I said, I could have summed the title up: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Um, and I don't know. I guess you could say instructions on that stuff, on all that what I just said. So we take the life, liberty, in your pursuit to a better life and liberty, your freedoms. They take that away, and then they take your happiness away. So everybody must be bitter. So that's why a lot of people cannot get to a calm, soothing, normal American side like we normally do, where we enjoy the sun, the beaches, parks, or wherever we're at in America. We barbecue, we enjoy each other's time. We like to sit there and bullshit a lot, It's relaxing Americans whenever they maybe work a lot or whatever they do, or whatever it is, they get to come together and enjoy each other's personal input and time stuff. So I was gonna um, talk about the people who are in there now, who represent us now as people, how they can kind of look a little lot like, maybe a little bit to a lot like a dictator or a bad person, and at least a very bad politician, is that these people think, and people who are uh, like that, of course, they're going to be able to come up with a way to, like you fight you, and don't fight me over what I did. I'm the politician. You guys can't fight me. You voted for me. You know what I mean? But they think they're better than other human beings. So when I look at different candidates, I would like to feel that they don't think that they're any better than me for any reason. And everybody's got their own jobs, and nobody is more important or better than the next person. But what I do, if I'm a representative, I need to do my job as that senator, congressman, or even the president, like everybody else. When they go to their jobs and they're trying to do the most professional job, and they have a very sincere approach to doing that, more that outstands from anything else. You want to do an excellent job, and then, excuse me, and then we can talk about what you're worth or what I'm worth, but it's my job, basically, like everybody else has a job that is important to do. Once people find their life and their liberties and their pursuit to happiness. It should be a pursuit to happiness to become a senator or a congressperson, not an objective goal like I must, be the one that go to Washington because I'm better than you people, and I think I can do a better job because obviously, for whatever reason now, you guys aren't smart enough to be able to take care of the world on your own. So you must send this guy here. This guy who's in the White House now. He goes off on some of the most crazy stuff. I think he needs to be. He needs his head checked. Is what he needs. And it sounds like that climate garbage is what it is. So if you want to talk about wars, this right here would shut, I think, a lot of people's face, especially a lot of liberals, a lot of Democrats would not even challenge me or even say a word, basically. They might try to laugh or scoff or actually say something, they might, but then what I'm talking about is challenging the words. So here in America, we are cleaner, have cleaner air today than we've had um, since before uh, the factories, all the factories and everything, the modern industry. I think it was in the 1600s, somewhere in the 1600s, they started making paper mills and stuff like that, right? So the pollution goes back beyond before automobiles, and you cannot blame it on cars at all. Up to this point or any point in time, you cannot blame it on the automobile at all about the air pollution. The pollution was already there, but America is cleaner now than since before that. So we've already made our progress. We've already leaped, like we're going to the moon as far as climate and uh, pollution and stuff go here in America. So I think other countries like China, and India, and other places that um, basically are making the planet toxic and their place toxic, they need to be forced to clean it up. But everybody else in the whole entire world need to stand up against these people and tell them you need to clean up your act. We're in 2015. We're not in freaking 1789, 1732, or something like that. Over in uh, Southeast Asia somewhere. You know what I mean? Back in God knows when. We're here now where we know how to basically clean up all of this stuff. Instead of doing it, what we already have the functional capability to go and clean China up and India and everywhere else that has all this toxic waste everywhere and clean it up and actually sound the whole entire planet. We have here politicians sitting there blowing smoke out of their ass. This guy Obama, what I said, the last thing I said is the guy might as well uh, talk upside down on his hands, turned around with his pants down and his butt out to the crowd, toward the crowd when he's talking. That is, in my opinion, Obama might as well pull down his britches, stick out his ass, stand on his hands and feet, and give it to everybody just like that. Because in my opinion, what I see, he's already doing that. That's all he's doing. So does Trump think that he is a above everybody else? I honestly don't believe he does. I really don't. I think you got one guy out there, one billionaire tycoon guy, who actually doesn't think he's better than all of us. I want to give a message to Trump. I'm talking about cleaner air today, but the enemy, or not, well, what you said, not that the Muslims were all enemy. You just said ban all Muslims from coming in here right now. You didn't say forever. You just said until we squash this terrorism thing, right? So what I'm talking about is the Arab nation, because they're in a hot desert, right? Well, what I've learned, come to find out, my knowledge of them, in Saudi Arabia in particular, places like that, I think in Kuwait too, just they have the world's largest water manufacturing plant in the world. So they're producing, they're sucking water up out of the ocean, and they're returning salt and sand or whatever however they're doing it. They're doing that. So all I'm saying that is they're purifying water over there. This is my message to Trump. I hope he understands what I'm trying to say and where I'm going with this. Over here in America, we have the cleanest air that we've ever had for a long time, that you can record for a long time, for hundreds of years. Now we've cleaned up our act. Good. We're solid. But our water should be natural. It should be springy, but it's not. It is actually tampered with. So you got on one hand, you got the Saudi Arabian people over there purifying water. They have the world's largest water purifying plant. And here, instead of everybody having the cleanest, freshest water, aqua, on the planet, we have in tap, we have it manipulated, and it has fluoride and all kinds of other junk like that. So if somebody goes and represents me now, who do they represent? Do you represent somebody out there, or do you represent us in here? And don't get that mumbo jumbo confused, because you can't. There's no two ways about it. Obama cannot represent the whole world and represent America at the same time. It's dangerous. It's clearly only been only effective to be completely the most dangerous, most toxic thing that I've ever seen. It's like certain people, if they conquered the world and actually took it over, these certain people, I won't say so I don't look racist, so I don't make myself out to look like a freaking scapegoat racist goat herder. Um, I'm just gonna say certain people, they're evil. They took over the planet. What would they do with it? They don't have intentions to grow apples. You know, they're not trying to grow apples for horses. You know what I mean? They're trying to make, and if they did, it was to make sure that their um, control of everybody and everything is in effect. And we're talking about over here on the right is people are controllable enough. I don't need to follow you around, and please don't make me have to think how we're going to get babysitters all across America to go and babysit all of these people who want social programming, who want, you know, who don't even at least ask themselves if they want God to take care of you. You want God to take care of you, or do you want a man to take care of you? Or you want men to take care of you? I would I would hope God would be leading the way to all the stuff that I have and to where I'm at and all of the stuff that I end up with. My life, liberty, and my pursuit to happiness. Not if God has to go through a human to give me that, that's one thing. But I'm not taking stuff from the government or from another man. I'm saying they don't even at least ask themselves, do I want to continue getting and being the recipient of a hideous monster that is out of control, the one in Washington, that is not like Bush at all. That is not like Bush at all. People keep saying that Bush is bad and this and that, but I fail to see the comparisons when Obama does absolutely the opposite. Every single thing he takes so many steps to do to go us backtrack from what Bush did. In the war in Iraq, if we made money off of oil over there, where's the money? I'd really like to know where the money is, because we have a really large debt right now, and it would it would come into handy to pay the debt off. So I mean, we gave Iraq, especially with this Obama thing, and we jerked our military out of there. We gave we gave them a solid, brother. We gave Iraq a solid, bro. Yeah, we won't have to go back there, will we? No, and you can see, you can't tell that there's two different types of people in America. Those who don't want life, liberty, and a pursuit to being a happy, jolly mother sucker. They want to be evil, vindictive, nasty, bitter, wasteful, selfish, spit in your face. You give them everything that they want and they'll spit in your face. Thanks. Like, okay. Yeah, we the rest of the world, we deserve that, because you're the only one really that live here. We're all just another fictition. We're all pretend, not even real here. It sounds very unintelligent, insulting the intelligent. So I wanted to say I don't believe Trump is a selfish person like that, and I don't think he really thinks he's better than anybody else. And people would probably argue with me on that one, and I feel the argument strong already. You don't even have to say anything. I already know you're going to argue with me on my comment there. Okay, so here's my story. This is my story about living good, free. So you have already, and you improve your life every single day still. Anyways, you don't just stop with being happy there. You continue whenever you have these thoughts on how you can still improve what you have, and your your land, your property, your God-given property. So we're going to be talking about John Locke and the philosophy of John Locke. And we called ourselves a liberal here too on this station. We called ourselves the liberal conservative, because we believe that that's nonsense, that the Democrats own that they're going to say um, that they are just a liberal. That is not true. A liberal is supposed to be somebody who cares about everybody, who cares about other people's issues, and wants to see results in the positive thing, and people to be able to pursue their own lives for happiness. Happiness. So, here I say, we're gonna get, because I got this from John Locke's philosophy, and they're trying to credit him with uh, liberalism, being the father of liberalism. So it's funny that I said liberal like that. So I do mean liberal with me, but that just means like, well, if I mean to give you this, why wouldn't I mean to give myself the same thing I want you to have? I want it to be equal. So this is not socialism. This is not progressivism. All those came way after John Locke. And John Locke is a maybe sort of libertarian, sounding kind of. He is the guy who our forefathers came up with the life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness from his philosophy. Because we're gonna go in here and I'm gonna start doing my screen share now. John Locke. John Locke was born August 29th, 1632, died October 28th, 1704, in uh, Rington, United Kingdom, and then he died in High Lavar, United Kingdom. So this is where people get confused about the difference between church and state. What we're talking about is, it says probably in one of these little statements here. Um, if not, I'll explain it. They had an oppression going on over in England by King James. Whenever you look up King James, you're gonna find the Bible, So they also have us all basically reading, um, you know, King James Bible. So I look a lot, and I try to read the other Bibles also, not just the King James version. And if I have to, I'll pray. I'll pray that God guides me through the Bible, so that I don't um, you know, try and interpret the Bible in the wrong way, because um, now I'm understanding that this guy got John Locke got our founding fathers' philosophy from God Himself. So he had to come up with a way fighting against oppression from a way that you would say contradicting to, the freedom of religion movement. You would say um, that they were oppressive over there in the sense that they said that you had to study a certain type of philosophy or religion or cult or whatever it was. That's what you had to believe in. So pilgrims and other people came to America and stuff like that because of the oppression going on over in England because of this guy. So this guy right here comes up with a way so that we can keep pursuing these ideas and these better notions that we have that only get us to a better, well-equipped society. Um, so uh, these guys weren't probably really even thinking of like making a prison or a jail or anything like that, because they had it all together. But no, all I could say about the disappointment about the jail thing is I just I don't know how unnecessary it is. It sounds evil and monstrous, the prison system, but society has created um, just a very terrible environment for people to live in. So they're pursuing other things than what would be your common, uh, your American goals that we're all striving to and trying to achieve to get to. So, um, I say to you, like, people, if they're being bitter and they're being evil, they're definitely wrong. And you know that because, and now you have, I guess, a little bit to do with that is because you must be pursuing happiness, not unrest, not dividing America, not making the world, if you want to talk about the world, a bitter place, a worse place. You don't want the world to become darker and more grim as you spread your nonsense and you go through it. The whole entire world, you know, uh, it's just destruction and chaos, and then you're happy at the end, and the whole place is just a wasteland. It's destroyed. So, people need to simply be able to tell politicians off and just tell them to get out. You're not gonna do that. You know what I mean? All the things that any one president or anybody have done should ought to be able to be stopped right away before they are allowed to go completely too far and way overboard. It's it's unbelievable. So what this guy's philosophy was sort of like goes into my story about living good, free, and really having a good time, no money. That's my story. So that I came up with and that I live with and I think about it a lot. I try to figure out what the way that things are and the time and everything that it is today. I'm not trying to pursue to conquer anything other than my own land, my my freedom, my life, my liberty, and the pursuit to being a happy person. So realistically, I think people are atrocious monsters if they think that that's unreasonable. That we can't all have our own land and be able to work on your own land and improve it. And that's what John Locke was all about. So, well, looks like we don't really need you anymore. What do we need you for if you're just gonna keep stripping us and robbing us blind? You know, we America did not do anything that ended up today to where we stripped somewhere in the world some poor peasant country and did anything wrong to them. You know, and they're gonna act like we're terrible people. You know, like we're monsters. Um, people like us, I'll say this again, did not at the Boston Tea Party, did not tear up their own stuff and their own. That is bullshit. You're gonna tell. Here's some black people talking like this the other day. Said, "Yeah, man, we got this from white people, man. They when the Boston Tea Party, man, they tore their place to shredded beans." No, that's not true. That is not true. If it's just like with the North and the South, when the North won, they continued slavery. Then the South had no slaves. They were all basically peasants put out on the street. Carpetbaggers took over their land. So then a lot of people that owned a lot of land, Southerners in the South, which is their God given uh it's your God given um land or whatever right to have that land, and through a war through that the North figured out a way to basically use race as a tool or whatever to act like that was the reason why the North and the South went to war. No, it wasn't because the North was oppressing the South. The North was a complete oppressor to the Southerners, and to think why Southerners, a lot of them would have to have slaves still up to any point in time, or even at all ever use slaves, have to work them in. Like that's some good idea or something. Why you wouldn't want to be able to pay people, And if you paid the ransom for a slave, why you wouldn't be paying for it for them to be free, you know? For them to be able to pursue their own life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And only 3%. It's 3% of white Americans here back during that time even owned slaves. Not that only 3% came here, but that could make sense. Only 3% of all of the slaves in the whole entire slave trade. But it's kind of ironic it sounds how it works out that way. That only 3% of all white people in America ever owned a slave. So as far as other white people being harsh to other people's slaves, I don't know if that was going on or what they're trying to say, fit in their movies and stuff. A lot of real stories happen. True events took place, but you're depicting, you know, people as being, they're evil already. So really, it's a thing. So we're talking about people for whatever reason. Look at the Dust Bowl. Look at that in particular. People had to leave where they lived. My grandfather was from Oklahoma, and my grandmother was from Arkansas, and they ended up in California because of the Dust Bowl. So that's a true story. So for whatever reason, however the consequences have, some guy thinks he's a freaking brain whiz, and it only shows that he's an idiot, and he keeps coming out. Da da da. This Obama guy comes out. Oh, please stand on your hands, Obama, and pull down your britches and turn your ass around when you talk, because people can't hear you what you're saying, idiot. Gee whiz, you know. So, however, I can end up out in the woods, not in the woods like secluded, like I did anything wrong. I just don't want anything to do with other people, and I think that they need to tell the government along the way, and by the time we all have our own liberties and whatnot, we'll have a network where we can still have our military, pay them, fund them to keep other people from, and we'll have to know all of the classified information as American citizens on what we need to know. The government can't hide that from us anymore. Is there something that I need to know as an American citizen? Is there somebody going to try to invade my country? Is there things I need to be worried about? There's things I need to be worried about. They're telling me, oh, don't worry about it. It's just a ramping up to the level of degree of a dang war or something here in America, from all of the nonsense going on, caused and created by the government. So I'm just getting to a place where I don't have to depend on the government or people. When you talk about the government, we're always like, man, I don't want that government, the evil government. Well, you know what? The government wouldn't be the government unless it was run by other people. So you're still talking about other evil people, not the government. You're talking about a person. So that rounds my opinion and my thought on if I can be successful enough to not to be able to cash myself out of society and have everything that I need to take my land, my piece of property, um, and make the BLM give it to me. It's my land, it's your land, it's all of our land. So we spread it all out. We take it. We're Americans. We get rid of the government. Until then, we don't need you anymore. And then we'll run our own intel, and each American will know what they need to fear or need to know, what's the truth, what isn't the truth, and then it'll be up to simple Americans again, what kinds of bombs or military actions we'll have to take will be appropriate. As a nation, we'll all vote to tally, and we'll cut everything else. We'll gut the government right out. We'll just gut them. got the whole thing. Got Congress, got all of the senators, got the president, got all of it, you know. And then we say, wait a second, before we got too far, we'll look at it all and we'll say, what do we really need to keep? We'll keep the other different agencies open, but the more honest that they've been with people, the more that serious they are about their future as still having something to do. And then these other people that be monitored, if people are pursuing anything other than happiness and liberty, and that what I just said, and don't go study John Locke, and they don't see exactly what I'm talking about with him and where I'm going with my own property, that I believe everybody should be equally having the same, you know, except it doesn't make me any better than anybody else if I have more stuff than somebody else. That just means that, hey, man, that's cool. I can look up to him a little bit more or something because they achieved it. They went out and worked a little bit more out there to get their stuff, you know, whatever that you look up to the person over. But if they're looking at anything other than happiness, they're, you know, as their lifestyle, what they're gonna live like, then maybe they should go somewhere else for real. Maybe they really should. They should be, uh, we'll make an agency where, um, you know, we'll take the person's attitude, and the absolute off the wall corny bullshit shit that Democrats say. It's like, it's classic warfare. They'll say one thing to go with their stuff, but if somebody trying to that means well says something, they'll just say, "Oh, you can't use that. You don't have no constitutional rights." So I want stuff. I want stuff from the Lord God, from my Lord God. And that's what I want. Um, not um, not by evil people. So if I get something from somebody, I want to be able to know that they don't have an evil feeling or thought, um, by what they gift they gave me and presented me. And if it's not towards me, anything else, or just laying over and rolling over and giving up and letting somebody, all these other people, like these politicians, these Democrats or whatever today in America, have only evil intentions. And they're going to build us all up like we're, you know, we have to listen to what they have to say because they make such good awful sense, you know. So it's not the government, it's another person. It's an evil person that thinks that they're better than all of us. It's classic warfare. They're gonna go to Washington D.C. and, you know, by God, they're going to run things by the way that a person who thinks that they're above you already or better than other people, you know, are sent there because you couldn't handle it yourself. And that's not the truth. We send them there to do what we say, not what you think because you're above everybody else. But that's how it works out. And it's portrayed as classic warfare. Classic warfare, and it's the attack. It's the complete attack on life, liberty, and the pursuit to happiness. It's an attack on all of my rights, on all of my God-given rights. So they want to take all that away and suggest what they could give to us as the government or as a monster. And they're trying to be this monster, this other thing that that they're not. You know, there's a monstrous thing in progress, but there are other people that have hideous intentions and ideas and are willing to do all this stuff to, for politics that makes us unsafe. And it's pathetic. And I don't understand why anybody would keep voting for more of it. So, yeah, I just think that the Republican Party tapped when, every time it comes down to it, man, they send somebody out there and he, and they're like, this Paul Ryan now recently comes out, just great. He just became the speaker, right? For our, right wing that took over here. So he's going out here and he's going tap. He's hitting the mat and he's tapping on this Muslim thing, trying to attack, trying to attack Donald Trump. So that's the stuff like that, like the attack from Paul Ryan on Trump the other day, is classical how the Republican Party lost lost to the Democrats. And at this point in time, I don't even know if I can say if that was just a one battle out of all the charades. If we still can sit back and wait and see, waver through the smoke clears and see who if the Republican Party is still going to fight or has another fighting chance, or if they just tapped out and gave up the war to them. Because it also goes down to saying that they're agreeing with Obama, but why? Because he's the president, right? He's the president. It comes down to you have to do what he says, Congressman. That's right. They didn't vote the majority of all you guys in there to do the opposite of what he's been doing and tell him no. He tells you to go ahead and tell the VA to go get screwed, and we'll pledge all this money that we're going to all of these Muslim refugees, no matter what. No matter what. And the war is over. The war on terrorism is over. We can go ahead and close Guantanamo Bay. We can go ahead and do all this stuff. Everything that these libtarded idiots say. Liberalism. Locke argued that each man has a natural right to life, liberty, and property, while adding that governments must not violate these rights based on the social contract. That's what that's what I believe in, and that's why I don't wake up with a self-destructive notion. I don't have a tendency to hate society or want to get even with a single person. I would like to get to my Zen or whatever I think that is, and that's away from everybody in society, and to be able to finally get to where my God-given property is and my God-given rights are, so I can go from there and build from that point on and create myself more happiness. So it is a well-known phrase in the United States Declaration of Independence. The phrase gives three examples of the unalienable, and that was what I was saying the other day. God's given us unalienable, unwavering rights, which the Declaration says has been given to all human beings by their Creator, and for which governments are created to protect. And truly, people would all be honestly be given that. But the thing about it is we're not all honestly put here to deceive one another, but try to strive to conquer anything other than that for ourselves, and we honestly want that for other people. So if somebody has other intentions of that, or they're destructive to the planet and they're doing anything that is opposite to the agenda of life, liberty, and the pursuit to happiness, and they're doing the other thing, then that's where we talk prison system, jail, the police, society, all these other agencies and everything else, and this monitoring system. I was like, forever, for a long time, I was like, at the beginning, I was a little bit sympathetic to the Patriot Act thing, right? So I was like, all right, well, yeah, the government's gone a little bit farther, you know what I mean? But no, the government, for what it is, um, has to keep us safe. So so when people are saying that and they're arguing that, it just really makes me kind of curious and wonder what the hell are you worried about? Because there's nothing that I wouldn't seriously um, want to face my own self um, with something that's ridiculous for the authorities to look at um, my computer or anybody else's or stuff or anything for any reason if it's going to if they think that it has something to do with national security. Are you ridiculous? You know, I don't mean to cause any chaos or jeopardy. I mean to nip it in the bud before it springs, before it happens. So how are we going to get to society to where we stop all of those things from happening before they happen, instead of and the liberals aren't going to do that. This guy, idiot Obama, if he was president for 50 years, the guy would give you nothing but chaos. Our own fireworks that we do on the 4th of July, he'd be setting them off on us, our own self, to blow us up, you know. And oh, he's charismatic. He's charismatic how he does it. So the media and everybody else must let him get away with it. Must let him get away with such racist bigotry and hatred towards the United States of America. It's ridiculous. It is completely mind blowing how people do that. But sure, all right. Thanks for letting me vent and say what was on my mind and give people kind of an understanding where I'm going with my own life, liberty, and pursuit to my own happiness is my own property, everybody's own property and happiness. And then I really would like to work on a no money system because I think that's evil. It's evil. It's getting people killed, thrown under a bus. People are homeless. You know, you got rampant homelessness. I mean, instead of people being able to go in somewhere that they can call their own house, crying out loud, even if it's a small little shack, they can go in there, have a comfortable bed and something for a change, you know, just automatic, just giving them that, you know, socialism, you know what I mean? Or liberalism, whatever you want to call it. Then from there, the person can work on what they need to work on. You know, this is ridiculousness. You know, having people work for all this stuff, and then they're going to, they're going to attack your 401ks, your private bank accounts. You know, if you want to talk about accounts that I don't want the government in, and that would be my bank accounts. It makes me very untrusting of banks also. But now my personal emails, I mean, I'm like, what are you guys hiding? What do I have to hide? Or anybody else that you would argue over the Patriot Act that could save somebody's life and could stop terrorism, opposed to um, me owning a gun, you owning a gun? That if it came down to could defend from it. If I have a gun, it is not your business or anybody else's business to dictate and to say if you think or feel that I need a gun. If I say I feel like I need one, that's my own personal feeling that I feel need not to be attacked. And constantly people you know, portray this evil thought that this tyrannical piece of shit that you have in Washington right now is trying to oppress people with and do is absolutely ridiculous. And I think that you're an idiot and stupid. And I'm almost spitting mad over people thinking that they have a they have the right to tell me or any other citizen in America that they don't have a right. I had this guy tell me yesterday, told me to run. Well, run. If somebody's trying to shoot the place up or something happens, just run. No, don't have yourself a gun. If somebody comes in my house, don't have myself a gun. No. You know, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's asinine. It is exactly what I'd said. Democrat Party insults the intelligence until everybody's flat stupid. So that's where you have that. You have people be talking about all these different things, and people be like, yeah, I agree, man. And all of a sudden they're telling you, yeah, I don't think you should have a gun. But the person, people saying that, probably have a gun somewhere in their house to protect their own self, but they don't want you to have one. It's it sounds like a lot of people are like that. In particular, they're what was the double standards? It's the double standards in America. There's double standards instead of in people looking over their shoulder or having to worry about what the hell's going to happen or what the world is going on here. Instead of people being insured of their life, liberty, and the pursuit to happiness. For crying out loud sakes, people. Holy moly. It's terrible. It's very terrible.